Hi, and welcome to Learning Life. I'm so glad that you've been able to join us today. And what I want to do is actually teach you a great study tool, because we've been talking about study, and study is a big part of our lives for maybe us as grown-ups as we're continuing in our education, or for our children. And this is something that I wish that I had known about when I was in high school and university, because I think it would have made my study times more effective. And so it is 4 simple little letters, actually 2 letters repeated. It is RCRC. And what that stands for is read, cover, recite, check. It's a very simple, easy tool that actually involves all the different learning styles, which is great. And so what we want to do is get our study materials. Maybe it's our vocab words, maybe it is chapters from a book, or it's our class notes, and we want to break it down into sections. So the first thing we're going to do is read. Now, we're not going to read an entire chapter, not necessarily even a whole page, but really maybe a paragraph, maybe it is a sentence, maybe it's just that vocab and its definition. And we want to read it carefully. We want to read it slowly. We want to read it out loud because we want to get those auditory processes in. So that's really our first thing. We're going to read. Our next thing to do is to cover. We want to cover it up. Easy, with your hand, or maybe you want to have like a note card or something that you've made, makes you a little studying fancy. But we're going to just cover up what we've just read, because we don't want to be looking at it right now, because we're going to get to the next section, which is the next recite, which is really our fancy way of saying it out loud. What we want to do is take what we've just read and covered up, and now putting it into our own words and speaking it again out loud. We want to be able to hear again what it is we've been learning, because that is reinforcing. And then our last thing is to check. This is where we get to uncover and look down at the material and go, yes, I got it right. Or maybe it is, I really missed some parts. And if you've missed it and you haven't got it right, easy. Just go back over, just RC. And when we're using a simple little tool like this, what we're doing is we're reading it once, we are going back over it, and then we're checking it. So that's 1, 2, 3 times that we've been able to go over something. And it is a little slower than maybe just sitting there and reading through our notes. And some of the kids that I've worked with have gotten all frustrated at me because I've said, well, this actually slows down a little bit what they're doing. They're like, what do you mean slow down? I don't want to slow down. I just want to get through and read this as quickly as I can. Well, we know that that's really not effective study. But to do this, and it's really not a long process, it's like read, cover, recite, check. It can be done quickly. What we really are doing is that we are reinforcing that learning. So it might be slower in the fact that it takes longer to get through the material, but it's going to get here a lot better. And that's what we really want. So Rcrc is a great little tool, and I would encourage you to teach it to your children, because I think you will find then that their study times really are more effective, and you will see a greater confidence coming out of them. And my question for you, and I would love to get your answers, is this something that you wish that you had known about when you were studying? Do you think that this would have been an effective tool for you? Bubbles. Who doesn't love bubbles? We think about it with kids, we take them outside, we have a great time, we run around, we pop them, we giggle, we try to catch them. Just something that we can so easily pick up at the grocery store or the Dollar Tree or Walmart or Kmart or any of those sort of big stores. Bubbles, they're great to have in the house. And you're probably asking me, Michayla, why are you talking about bubbles? Well, because they're actually a really great tool for kids, especially those that are maybe having some issues with frustration or anger. Did you know that you cannot blow bubbles when you're angry? You try it. You get there and you're frustrated and you think, oh, and we're pushing out that air. You can't do it. They're just going to pop. Bubble blowing takes gentle, calm, controlled breathing. And so if you have a child that is frustrated or angry, give them some bubbles, send them outside. And that actual physical act of blowing those bubbles and that calm, gentle blowing is going to help them to calm down. Look, I do it myself. Now I have daughters, I can use them as an excuse. Oh, let's go out and play some bubbles. But for me, I can use it as a time like, I just really need to calm down. And it's a great just sort of breathing tool. And yes, I could do some slow breathing, but it's much more fun with bubbles. So think about keeping some in your house, because maybe you might just want to send your child outside with some bubbles and say, here, go blow some bubbles. Just, it's time to calm down. Bubbles, they're the way to go. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Remember, thumbs up, send us comments, answer those questions. I would love to get your feedback. Spread the word about Learning Life. Thank you so much for joining us today.